Hello and welcome to Casablanca's YouTube channel. Just thought I'd do a video today of the top 20 Collingwood players between 1987 to 2020 now. Obviously, this list has already been done months ago. I did thought about I'll give my opinion on the somehow top 20 and some players that probably that could be in there, despite on what they've done and pretty much what they've achieved at Collingwood. Um, this isn't going to be an easy list. This might be controversial because we see a lot of, how do you say, a lot of things different to that. So here it is. Number 20 was Nick Maxwell. Now, that I do agree with because he has been a little bit underrated, as you can say. He won the premiership, and he was one of the ones that in the past couple of decades that actually get us into a premiership grand final actually won it. So he was captain courageous, he showed that leadership across half back and really set the example of the team as well. That's why I'm willing to agree with that. 19 was Heath Shaw. For that, I can't kind of agree with it. Um, that's more than the grand final itself too. That probably could save it, but I reckon there was maybe another couple players that potentially um wouldn't mind seeing. I don't think they're on that list as much, but if I was to put either player under 19, I know Garen Kasiski's in there, so it's Garen Brown, but I wouldn't mind putting either Damien Monques or maybe Darren Mullane. Now, Darren Mullane was a great player for Collingwood as a and he's in Nebbies unless I say Daniel Monques or Craig Savage. Um, to me, Daniel Monques, I'm not discounting about that. I think he deserves to be on the list. But I reckon there's a couple players because you look at Daniel Monques, his ability to know that plays a rock and can push forward, and he's you know to see him play. I know on a few Collingwood DVDs that him and James Manson, even though they've both got, James Manson's got that awkward kicking style, but was very effective. Um, but other than that, it is a really hard job. So that I kind of agree with. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting one itself. Gavin Kasiska, yeah, I put him as that end. I think he really deserves it. Um, don't know who else you can put in there. People can say Dennis Banks because he was an important player for for Collingwood but other than that, yeah, I tend to agree with going to Cisco. 17's Alan Didak. Now, with this one, it could have gone either way. I don't think Leon Davis' name is in that. For me, it could be either him or Leon Davis. Peter Dacos is in the list, I would say. Yeah, either him or Leon Davis. To me, they're both brilliant players. It doesn't matter who you pick out of them two. Didak probably um, deserves the accolades. Like, he's been in the grand final. People could say that Tyson Goldsack maybe could be up there as well because, he's been a great warrior for the Collingwood Football Club. Certainly stuck with him as well on top of that. But I'm sticking with that as possible. Now, 16 they got Savoca. I have to say, I tend to agree. You could probably put both the Rocker brothers up maybe a little bit higher. But yeah, for me, Sav was unstoppable on his day. Good luck in trying to stop him. Played in North Melbourne at 2001 to 2006. But from 92 to 2000, I thought one of the greatest Collingwood players that ever pulled on a jumper. Him and Chris Talon is probably another one that could have easily gone in that, but I think for me, Sav Rocker was the one that really lifted Collingwood and got us into kicking bag of goals and nearly kicked 100 goals between the two. The 16. 15 is Anthony Walker. I probably would rate Anthony Walker higher because he single-handedly kept Collingwood in a grand final by kicking 4. Should have been 5 and should have been, would have been in front. But what Anthony Walker did was, whenever, and same thing for Sav, if we ever needed a goal to be kicked, you can always trust both of them to kick it. From outside 50, you can always trust both of them. The one thing I see with Anthony Walker is that his torpedoes go further than Sav's drop hunts. So they're both really massive kicks of the footy. And yeah, I just think now I look at Anthony Walker and I think, wow. Met him down the club, got a photo with him. He, as an assistant coach, just really proud of him and what he's achieved. 14 is Travis Clark. I tend to agree with that. Could have dropped him off. Couldn't have him a little bit lower. He's a premiership player. But he was... And I can sort of understand why they put him as 14. He really could... Don't know... I just need a drink. He really could take a game by the scruff of the neck. Now, his best footy, he was the best field kick in the competition. So I'll look at Travis Cook and I think, well, he's got to be kick on him. Made his debut on Anzac Day, I think 2005. Certainly wouldn't surprise me either way, but yeah, he was a good player. Could he play in today's game? Maybe. I felt sorry for him a little bit in 2016. He dropped 3 times. I think sometimes he could have dropped Jesse White maybe once or twice in that. Other than that, I tend to agree with it. Voting was Scotty Burns. I tend to agree with that as well. You can almost put in Pressy on top of that list because that was a selfish decision to say that I wasn't alright in the 2010 Grand Final. Yeah, that is a very selfish act. A lot of players won't be able to do that now. They would say, no, I'm playing. But him is another one too. Probably really deserves hard at it. Credit to its due. Number 12, Paul Carrier. Again, he was another player that I have met. I rate him highly. To see how he plays, like he was always get the ball and use on his left foot. Sometimes his goal kicking wasn't it as good at times, but he can certainly use the footy and certainly hit a target while going forward. Again, tend to agree with that. Number 11, James Clement. Good backman. Did a job on the smalls and talls. Played on either one of them, and certainly you could not stop him as a player. He was one of the toughest players that went about it. Certainly had a few moments in the 2007 semi-finals against West Coast, but you can always trust him. David is all and such a great player for Collingwood as time goes by. Number 10, Brody Grundy. Yeah, can agree to that. What makes it so hard? You're always going to get debate on it. If it wasn't Brody Grundy, you could possibly put, I'm not trying to be mean, but you could put Ben Johnson in that. On top of that, it is a tough one. I'm not discounting that. I think it is going to be tough. Tend to agree with. Brody Grundy will tend to. I'll agree with it. Not because on how dominating he is, but he's a really good dominant ruckman that we haven't had for a while. You can almost put Josh Rees on top of that because he was, again, a really good ruckman, and considering what it's like to ruck against like Clark Heating and Darren Jolie as well, you can always say Gary Desaw, number 1 draft pick, but I'll stick with Brody Grundy. Still sub on with number 9. Um, yeah, he can. He's underrated. Certainly he is. Love him as a player. He's really funny. Yeah, especially when I was watching them train. Yeah, they're being funny. So love them all. But the one thing that he can do is how the hell he can kick us left foot goes. You don't often see players kicking on both sides of the body, and I think that's again Sam Mitchell from used to play for Hawthorn. He was the one that did it as well. Jason Ackermanis, both sides of the body. You just never know when you might need it, and I don't think they teach it and train it when they are coming through. I think that's how you're gonna get players thinking, well, yeah, you always go to your preferred side. I think it's better to go on the opposite side. And I think that's the reason why you can tend to agree with Mickey McGrawn at number 8. Now, I have watched him play. He did go to Carlton, but he was a great player at Collingwood. And I see that personally. I think well deserved. Got nothing against Mick McGrawn. He really knows his footy, and when he was a commentator, you always listen to what he says because he knew what was going on. Obviously, the game is a lot different 2020 as it was back in the 90s. With there's a lot more people involved around the clubs, and they really look after the players now compared to back then. I would agree with that. Number 6, Tony Shaw. Yeah, I would agree with this, but then there's another player. I cannot. Might take that. Could be either Jordan De Goey might be on his way up there, definitely for sure. Or you can put Ryan Maloney as well. He can kick on non-preferred feet. Or he can kick on his non-preferred. Did kick a yard back in 2003 as well. I will agree, Tony Shaw. He's a premiership player, and a premiership captain, which not many players can say, hey, I was a premiership captain of a great club. Yeah, father and son as well. Had Heath and Rich Shaw playing there as well. You can then put Rich Shaw when he was playing at Collingwood, but Tony Shaw, premiership player, certainly was a coach, but the one thing that he did as a coach, because they know that he was getting sacked, was that he played the kids and he pumped games into them. So and I thought that was good. So he was a great player, but other than that, yeah, really sucked. And number 5, we got Gavin Brown. Now, I say with Gavin Brown, he was the captain because Captain Courageous, and you don't get get that name for nothing. Like he puts his body on the line and actually can score. So I think that is probably the reason why, because of it. And I really rate Tony Shelfire. I've watched him play on DVD, and I think that he's going to be. Yeah, he was an assistant coach at one stage, but you can't fault his courageous and on what he did for the footy field. He got knocked out in the 1990 grand final by Terry Danaher, and to get back on the field, you wouldn't be able to now. I reckon, yeah, you have to give a lot of credit for that. Number 4, Dane Swan. Yeah, Premiership player, Brownlow medalist, MVP as well. Best and fairest for the clubs, yeah, no doubt on that. And certainly, you know, you could put Darren Mullane up there as well. But yeah, it's always a tough job, as I said. Other than that, yeah, great player. Unfortunately, his injury cost him 2016 season, so it was hard on him. But yeah, you don't see much of him complaining. He just goes, yeah, right. Won the Anzac Day medal a couple times in his career, as well as a big time player. So I think you have to agree with that on that point. And it comes on the big stage. Even South Africa's an Anzac Day medal as well. But you can always rely on Dane Swan to get the job done in finals, in big games. And you can't fault that. You really can't. You just have to say, yeah, I tend to agree with. Number 3, Peter Dacos. Now, I tend to agree with this. Peter Dacos, I haven't met him in person. I wouldn't mind meeting him. But he's got Josh Dacos and his son Nick as well. It's going to come through the system. I think I've spoken to Josh Dacos maybe once, and I said to him, seeing your father play was such a good player. One thing I will say, that Peter Dacos can kick a goal from anywhere. Like he started those, dribble kick goals. He started those banana goals, and then it's just a regular thing that's happening in AFL footy. Kick a banana goal from the boundary line, or somehow, some way, it Mr. Magic, the magician, as they called him, really, really does a good job. He's a superb kick to goal. You can't deny that. And yeah, to see highlights. I know I've seen him on a DVD and that, and you go, wow, how did he pulls it out of the hat? But yeah, you could have a lot of highlights for Peter Dacos. Can go in the midfield too when needed to, and just have to stand and applaud that because not many players could do that. Alright, number 2, it could be either Nathan Buckley or Scott Penderbury, but I agree with Pendles. Premiership player, captain of the Pies, as well. somehow, some way, just gets the ball and yeah, game slows down for him. So I think by going by that, I think you have to say that was a really good decision to do that. As you know, doesn't often get caught tackled holding the ball, but when it does, it's rare for that to happen. But his decision making, he's trying to think himself through a situation. A former basketball player, certainly, I think that kicks into you on how to get yourself out of trouble. He plays like the point guard role, so yeah, he'll set up his teammates. He'll score when he needs to. Yeah, and gives them an assist. Um, yeah, definitely the way to do it. Definitely a Hall of Fame, in my opinion. When he does retire, will break the record of Tony Shaw 313 games, and yeah, it's just a wonderful player for sure. Number one, the one and only, the current coach of the Collingwood Footy Club, a former player, best and fairest, a North Smith medalist, got the job done in big games, Nathan Buckley. No, people will say that he, what's the one I'm looking for? People will say because as a captain, yeah, he trained the same way, so he was all about preparing for footy, and that's not a bad thing, but he wanted his teammates to follow up and set high standards, and I think in a way it's a good thing because you expect more of yourself. Buckley could kick on his non-preferred foot as well, such a big kick. Certainly was reliable, gets the ball 30 times, got tagged a lot. Can't complain on that. So, yeah, it's one of the things really. Like, comment, subscribe, comment what you think. Yeah, if you agree with that top 20 list that was out months ago about it, if not, write down who you think that should be in it. It is certainly a tough job. We all have our opinions. Other than that, should be, yeah, should be glad that we get to witness these players. Alright, see you everyone.